Welcome to the very first episode of the Radius Night Show here on Octo, where we are going to show you a very cool selection of video games that I have been exhibiting at the Radius Festival here in the MuseumsQuarters in Vienna in the Wallick. And it's going to be awesome. We're going to talk to developers, we're going to see some of their games and many more things. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a sec. Can tell us a little bit about the game and the idea and what it's all about.
So it's kind of just a really exciting puzzle game about building snowmen.
I can do this.
It's the standard 3-ball snowman, as you can see. Obviously, we try not to discriminate, but we stick to the standard scale.
Of snowman.
Yeah.
And how did you get the idea for snowmans? Are you a big fan of snowman?
Not really, no.
I like the way this is going.
I wouldn't describe myself as a big fan, but as much as anyone is.
Was it because the colour is cheaper? Because there's no colour, white doesn't use any colour. Is that what it is? Is what was the reason, or is that?
It's because snow is white.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So, and which platforms is it out? Is it out already, or is it still in development?
Yeah, we're on PC, Mac, and Linux. So we're on Steam, itch.io, Humble, or thegoodsnowman.com.
This is very much an Andy. I agree.
Yeah, I mean.
Rami, have you played this game before?
I have played a very early version of this about a year ago, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was for a contest or something.
Oh yeah,
I'm still terrible at it.
Intel level up thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and what's the aim of the game? To build the perfect snowman, or does it have levels?
No, I mean it's like a logic puzzle basically. It's kind of a block pushing puzzle, but it's dressed up as a snowman building puzzle because it's intuitive.
Okay.
You basically roll the snowballs to clear snow, to clear paths to roll other snowballs.
It's really hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to play than describe, maybe.
So, what's the URL again? So that's probably the most important thing is
goodsnowman.com.
goodsnowman.com.
Yes.
And you can buy it on Steam, you can buy it on...
Yeah, on our website, or Steam, or Humble, or itch.io.
Wherever, there's no reason not to buy this game because it's everywhere.
The game is super clever when you think about it. Like the way it works is you move the snowballs around. There's a really core level to sort of explain what I learned so far. But like you wanna roll the snowballs around, but then if you roll them through the snow, they grow. And if you don't have the 3 right sizes, you won't be able to build a good snowman, basically. So I grew that ball, and now this ball, and now that one. And that creates Tanya, which absolutely a Tanya.
So anyway, right, agoodsnowman.com.
Here's a good snowman.
There's Kevin got a hug. There's a butterfly. Aww. And yeah, so what are there any plans? Have you got any other games in development? Are there any plans? Is there anything you can tell us about? Any secret stuff? You probably can tell us all the secrets.
Wait, that's
because
not a good snowman. What?
Because
I learned a new mechanic.
Ta-da.
Bum-ba-da-ba.
So Ben, you probably can tell us all your secrets because the microphones probably don't work anyway. So that's the right time to tell us what you're working on next, secretly.
I've actually just been traveling for like 4 months and not really working.
Ooh. Where have you been?
So I kind of started at GDC in San Francisco and traveled up the coast and went to New York for different games, which is really cool.
The other coast.
Yeah, I went up the coast and then flew over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't explain that very well. So.
Because Rami knows a thing or two about flying. I'm not sure if you know, but Rami flies
Yeah,
like
you've been on a
twice
plane?
a year. or
I've
something.
been on a plane sometimes.
Yeah.
So, so you're just relaxing at the moment? Is
Well, I'm kind of working on some prototype stuff.
Yay, Rebecca.
We're going to try and release this on mobile by Christmas time.
Oh, cool.
But this
Oh,
one is
yes,
simple.
makes sense. Would
Yeah.
you? Is that going to be you're going to do a sound version of this for
Oh
Christmas?
no, this is hard.
This looked easy.
I mean-
This was a deception.
This looks so simple.
No, it's still easy. Oh, no, it's not.
We released this in February, so it was kind of snowy at the time.
That is, yeah.
Didn't you base the price off of the weather at the moment?
Yeah, so the first 2 weeks we basically got someone to measure the temperature in London and then set the price in dollars to the same as the Celsius.
I think
Which is
Celsius,
kind
Celsius is very generous because Fahrenheit would have been more expensive, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we're generous
You should have
people.
gone for Kelvin, really.
Because that.
Yeah, you have to pay me to play this game.
Yeah.
You have to. Cool. Well, thank you so much for showing us the game. Sorry for probably the audience not having heard the first half of what went with the game, but that's another reason to go and buy the game. How much is it on now? Is it like $35 or whatever it is?
Adriel,
It's $12 at the moment.
$12.
if you push the little ball on top of the other
Was
one,
in the
push it
Steam
off
summer
again
sale.
to the left.
Oh, yeah.
And,
So you've missed that.
Yeah.
I solved it all
Oh my
by
God,
myself.
Rami, I solved it. Well,
I solved it all by myself.
Yeah.
brilliant. No, that's probably a good place to end with
everyone.
this game.
Look, I'm stuck in jail.
Any famous last words? Oh well. For
Goodbye.
the stream. Yes. And you picked the theme for the
Yeah, so
Raiders.
Adriel came up with the theme for this year's
Do I get to
game jam.
announce the theme to the
Sure,
stream?
go for
Yes,
it.
do it.
Games for non-humans.
What does that mean?
That means a game that can be played by a non-human. Not
So-
about a non-human. It can be about a non-human.
But
Whatever.
like, imagine a game made for a cat, or a
Yes.
game made for an alien, or a computer, or a robot, or for the
Yeah.
Terminator,
or a
like
table.
a
Or
table.
And it could be a game about humans for tables.
Yes, that's a perfectly acceptable game.
That makes sense. If I'm a table, I actually think that would be quite an interesting game. So it's not specific to anything as long as it's not
Yeah,
human.
it doesn't have to be living. It just has to be not human,
That's
which is basically everything that's not us.
I mean, when we were discussing the theme, one of the things that I kept coming up with as a kid, I would used to play games that were in languages I just didn't understand. And I thought that was fascinating because I had no idea how the game worked. But I'd figure it out by like just messing around with it. And somebody else had the idea earlier, like what if there was a game for creatures that have 4 arms? Right? Like how would they hold a controller and how can we mess with that? Like you would be able to like duck and jump and shoot and roll and do 2 other things at the same time. And that would be a very normal thing for you to do. While as people, be really hard.
don't people have to do that anyway with games like Elite Dangerous and stuff? You have to do 10 things at once.
Yeah, but those are space sims, so that's
Okay,
acceptable.
that's a different thing.
You get like,
Space has aliens.
I mean, people that
True.
play space sims, a lot of people that I know that play space sims have like a special setup for it with a throttle and a joystick and
that's the
everything.
whole-
So then it's completely doable.
So, Rami, like next to you, we've got a new guest. Just
Yes.
magically appeared
Out of nowhere.
out of nowhere. But do you
That's
want to
what the
do
wizard is doing
the
again.
introduction? Can you act surprised and do the introduction?
Well, I'm just going to ask her to introduce herself. That seems most appropriate there.
That's also pretty lazy.
I am a very lazy host. Elena, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Eline Mures. I do PR marketing and production for indie games, and I'm also a communications manager at the Dutch Game Garden.
So that is you all left. Did you all leave in the same plane? No.
No. I
No,
actually went here by train. Yeah,
Wow.
11 hours.
Wow, that's
You
like.
could make video games on that train.
Yeah, you've been on
I
longer
could,
trains.
but I chose to play her story instead.
So here's an idea. What about like video games in a train? That's
Maybe making video games on a train?
yeah.
That's a good idea that I've never thought of before.
Can you? I mean,
I did it. I did it.
Yeah, actually, out of all the people sitting up here, the three of us have all been on Trainjam.
Only you
Wow.
have not been on Trainjam,
Yeah.
George.
Yeah, well, that's.
Way to go.
Well, I'm also the guy who didn't provide a working microphone in the beginning, so I've pretty much fall in line with everything that's not working here. So that's fine. So do you have your game with you, or is it on an iPad, on a computer, or is it?
I could get my computer, I guess.
Oh yeah, because
but
let's do it. Let's roll with this.
I
That's
didn't
fine.
really know.
Oh my God! Look, here we
So
go.
there's a video game. Interloper.
Interloper.
Can you tell us a bit about Interloper?
Interloper is basically RTS with matches that takes 5 minutes.
Yes, because the way I understand it, it's a really short, like fast-paced, fast-thinking RTS,
Yeah.
like sort of like distilling it down to the core again. Can you talk a bit about how that happened?
Well, I must say, like, it's basically a very minimalist RTS. It's meant to be very accessible. We really wanted to have the game, like, yeah, a lot of people don't really have time for RTSs generally. I mean, it takes 3 hours to do a tutorial, and then you have another couple of hours of training, so you can finally play online against people, and we really didn't kind of like that. So instead, we made a really fast-paced RTS that's easy to learn, kind of hard to master, and it's kind of like speed chess in a way that it's focused on spatial strategy. So it really matters where do you place your units, fast decision-making. Yeah.
Because for how accessible it is, it does have a lot of depth. The few times that I've played the game, I mean, for me this is a really exciting game because when I was a kid, I would play RTS games. I'd play StarCraft. StarCraft is one of my favorite RTSs, and I'd teach my younger brother how to play the game as well. And then within a month, he'd be better than me, so I'd stop playing. Having a game that goes a bit faster would probably be better for me because sitting there for 2.5 hours getting beat by your younger brother in a video game
At
wasn't...
what point did you know you're going to lose in these 2.5 hours? Was it like after 10 minutes?
You always keep hope, right? I think that's kind of the problem. I keep hope for too long.
But
Hope
then
is the
generally
problem.
you waste time.
Generally, I'm wasting time because it's just as soon as in a good RTS, as soon as your economy is better than the other player, if you make no mistakes, you're probably not going to lose anymore. And Interloper just distills that, from what I can tell, to a much shorter experience. It's much more about like quickly making decisions about where you put your stuff, right?
Yeah, it's not really about resource management in the sense of you gotta build a lot of structures and kill your opponent, but you can also just choose to just cover the map with your color, which is
cool.
basically the goal of the game.
So do you want to start playing and describing? I mean, it's in German, which means I can
should
tell you that
probably
this is
restart
campaign.
it.
That means it probably is the story mode, I think.
I should probably restart it because.
Oh no,
I'm
you're going to play
having
this in
a
German now. I think
mirror-
that's.
No, let's not do that.
So she doesn't want to play in German. Okay. Have you? Do you like RTS games or?
I don't like RTS games because they take too long, so I'm excited about the concept of a short RTS game because I just don't have the patience to like sit there and think about economy and do things because I just don't like it. It's not my thing.
So what games do you like? Like a couple of games that you do like because they're short and sweet.
Oh, see,
Oh,
I was
God.
going to say, when you asked me what games I liked, I was going to say like JRPGs, and then you asked short and sweet. So.
Well, I mean, you just explained to us that RTSs take too much
No, but-
time, and
no,
then
but
it's
they
like, okay,
take-
so what do you like?
They
well,
take too much time in the way where like I have to think about too many moving parts, and that annoys me. Whereas like I'm much more of like a narrative-driven or
Right,
things
yeah.
like that. You know, although I have been playing a lot of Destiny, and that's
We
not
have-
super narrative-driven.
we have an infinite argument about whether Chrono Trigger or Chrono Cross is better, which I'm sure the chat is going to explode
Yeah,
about.
the answer is that Chrono Cross is better.
Trigger.
Is it, and why? One sentence why each.
The story is better and the music is better.
Okay, I'll have to yield that the music is better, but everything else about Chrono Trigger is better.
Ho ho!
That's not a real argument.
No, that is an
Your
argument. It's
of why
literally-
it's better is that because it's better.
But that
That's
was
not-
your argument was literally
I
the
named
music
two
was
things
better.
that were better. You were just like, no,
Okay,
it's better.
the gameplay is better. I think the graphics are better. I think it's more pure. I think it's more interesting. I think
The battle system in Chrono Cross is better.
is interesting, but not better.
Better.
Nope. This is a good argument. See, this argument goes forever.
You could be like our intermission. Like we can just let this run for intermissions. Like whenever we need to
It's
change
just
our.
us saying which one is
I
better
would like
over
to
and
know
over.
what the chat thinks about it. Like, I personally believe that whether you love Chrono Trigger or Chrono Cross has to do with which one you played first.
I think Chrono Trigger seems to pop up more often now.
Because the internet is generally wrong.
Oh, that's true.
I think I trust the internet's good tastes, to be honest.
Oh look! The game's running. Let's
Good,
move on.
let's go there.
Here you go.
Finally. So I can finally explain what it's actually about. We have a sentinel here. You leave behind a sort of colored, gooey, watery thing. And the goal is to basically claim the whole level with your color. And you do that by moving around. So let's claim these little creatures here called drones. That's fine. I have to claim them like that. So there's my enemy who is
yeah.
orange in this case. And I can just move there. But hey, I'm blocked. So what I can do, select my drones and eliminate them. And then I can go right through there.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I have to sort of multitask, but as you can see, I totally kicked his ass, and now all that's left is just
Wipe up.
do some
Do a bit of
additional
painting.
coloring.
Yeah, just doing painting all blue.
I don't like orange, so.
You're Dutch.
Dutch. You're supposed to like orange.
Oh, sorry.
Pom, pom, pom.
Bum bum bum.
So, but as you can see, like, just from a few moments, like, I can see that in the game, there's already all of the things that you would normally do in an RTS, right? There's movement, there's positioning, there's trying to figure out where to place your units, where to go into combat, where to confront the enemy and where to let them go. Just in like this, I think it's a very good tutorial. It just kind of shows the RTS-y part of the gameplay. And like, again, the drones sort of end up being your resources, but instead of gathering your resources and then collecting and then building your characters, you just collect the characters. So it's everything RTS just condensed down.
So yeah,
That
this
is
is this is now actually a real fight in the game.
So these are real drones, not fake drones. These are the real deal.
Now, well, the difference is now the enemy is actually moving and doing things
Okay,
instead
oh
of
dear.
waiting for me to do things. So
I have to say, like, so far, do you think this is a game you would play?
Probably. I'll try it at least. I'll give it a shot.
I'm actually not a fan of RTSs, just which is maybe weird, but yeah, I don't like super competitive games where you have to like take a long time to get good at. But this is actually just very focused and
Yeah.
very minimalist, very fast-paced.
Yeah, I think that's one of my problems with RTSs
Yeah.
is like everybody else knows what they're doing already. Like you
Right,
can't just
right.
jump into StarCraft.
And I'm like,
Everybody
oh,
already knows how
never mind then.
StarCraft works and is really good at
Yeah.
it, and I'm just like, click.
click, click.
And is the game out already? Is it in
Yes,
development?
it's on Steam for PC, Mac, and Linux, so you can just get it right now.
And for the amazing price of only,
I think it's 11 euros when it's not on sale.
that's 11 euros is about less than a pint of beer in London. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
But everything,
That's probably like 7.5
breathing.
pints in Vienna. I don't know.
breathing in London is £11.
So, in fact, you know, that It's basically the bag of crisps you normally buy with a pint. If you don't buy the bag of crisps but buy this game, that's probably exactly
Yeah,
what. That's
yeah.
probably the equivalent. I would do the same thing.
Interloper better than a bag of crisps.
Yes.
That's marketing material right there, George.
Yeah, don't use me for marketing stuff.
I'll use that quote.
Better about, oh dear, oh dear. So, well, tell us what's sort of like next for you guys? What's happening with? Are you touring with Interlopers? Any other games out there? Can you tell us any secrets?
Well, actually, part of the team is graduating, so
What?
focus on that. And our programmer, for example, is focusing on making really weird experimental games, like really tiny experiments,
Wow.
which is really cool. So I hope he continues doing that and just bringing that out, pulling that out there, because there are some ideas that are really cool.
Oh, cool. That sounds very interesting. I mean, because I've got you three here, and all of you have totally change of topic, but before you leave, because I want to do this, because you've all been on the Trainjam.
Yes.
So, now I'm going to hand over to you, because you've got to explain Trainjam to the audience, because Trainjam sounds amazing. I've not been, because I've just been silly.
Yeah,
That's the only reason.
That's a good enough reason.
But I have about, I think, 10 friends, all of them, well, excluding you, other 10 friends.
Wait,
I mean,
did you
you're
exclude
friends.
us from your friends
No, you're
pool?
also friends, but I mean, other friends I also have. I've got, the other friends that I keep here somewhere. They also really liked the Trainjam, and one of them said that the amazing thing is it takes days, and every now and then you go out and wait because the train stops for about 10, 15 minutes. You sort of like breathe fresh air. You sort of like reset your brain, and you go back in, and then all you sort of like feel is sort of like the train moving along, and apparently there are also showers on the train. So if you
Thank God.
Oh my
if you
God.
start explaining, I'm just going to go and organise the next game.
Oh.
See how cool
Well,
that is.
Adriel, do you actually remember the Amtrak train rules? Like, Amtrak doesn't...
Oh yeah, there's an actual rule for Amtrak trains where you can't smell bad
Yeah.
or like kick you
Yeah,
off.
whose personal hygiene
Is offensive.
Is offensive.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess to explain to the audience and the rest of the world, Trainjam is a game jam that takes place on a train that goes from Chicago to San Francisco in the United States. And a game jam, for those of you who don't know, is basically a 48-hour generally or week-long thing where a bunch of game developers get together and make a game from start to finish based on a theme.
Yeah,
And,
so it's usually this really fast-paced creative
Yeah.
environment, right?
And yeah, it's super fast-paced, and there's usually a lot of time pressure to make something new because you're starting it from scratch, and there's usually a surprise theme right at the last minute that you base your game off of. Trainjam's a little bit longer because it's 52 hours long, but
a lot of a game jam, I feel, is forcing people to work on something really short so that they can
Yeah.
take weird, like, strange risks.
yeah, and that's one of the nice things about game jams, because like you said, you can take a risk because at the end of the day, if it totally doesn't pay off, it was a weekend.
48 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I must mention, like, usually game jams are like a bunch of people with computers in a tiny room.
Yeah.
And now we were actually in a train which had windows like everywhere, ceiling included. So everywhere you looked was just beautiful American landscapes. And actually, I didn't really feel like staring at a screen. I just wanted.
Yeah, that's the nice
No.
thing about Trainjam is since it goes from Chicago to San Francisco, like the United States is set up in a way where if you go from there to there, you go through the Rocky Mountains, which is like this huge mountain chain that's beautiful, and there's these giant windows, and it's like winter time, so there's snow.
I just love that every time we do Trainjam, we go through this little village called Cisco, I think, in
Yeah.
Utah, which is this weird little like ghost town. It's completely deserted. There's nothing there anymore. Apparently, it was deserted like 20 to 25 years ago. And people just left. They figured out that the ground there is poisonous or toxic.
It's uranium, right?
It's uranium, yeah.
Yeah.
It's radioactive. So they decided, well, we should probably get out of here because radioactivity in our house is probably not good. But then it turned out that their cars were also irradiated, so they couldn't
Right.
take their cars. So they just literally left everything behind, and the village just sort of collapsed. So there's like the current population of the town is like 3 people.
Yeah. Which, like, you think is funny, but I live in a town that is about 2 towns over from a town that is perpetually on fire and has been on fire for the last 50 years, and there's still 5 people who live there.
Isn't that city that Silent Hill was based on?
Yes,
That one.
the movie Silent Hill's visuals are based on this town. It's called Centralia, Pennsylvania. But there was a coal mine fire underground, and there's too much coal, and nobody can put it out because it's underground. But there's a few conspiracy theorists who think that the government is trying to take their coal so they won't move.
That sounds very America.
Oh yeah, it's
Okay,
super
so-
America.
But what about the 3 people that live in the uranium town? Like, why?
Maybe they want their uranium.
Probably a very
Yeah,
similar
it's probably
thing.
the same thing because like the way a lot of places work in the U.S. is like you have mineral rights to the ground below you. So if you leave, you lose those mineral rights. So maybe there's uranium under there that they still want. And I'm just saying
And
things.
then what?
Well, then you're a mutant.
Then profit.
Then you're a mutant that can sell uranium, and that's how my game Nuclear Throne starts.
Oh, right.
There we go.
This is how
Yeah, so
everything
we
begins.
now have concluded the location for Nuclear Throne. It takes place in Cisco, Utah. Yep.
Nailed it. I'm really excited for Interloper.
Yeah.
It looks really, really nice. I think you actually mentioned that you don't like RTSs. I actually think that's a really good place to start with video games, is to make something that you don't like. Do you feel that was part of the creation of this game, just trying to do something better than it exists right now?
I think definitely the idea was
You know,
doing.
Yeah, you could have done.
you could have
like,
walked around
Yeah.
us.
Yeah,
and-
around the cameras or.
No, I definitely think that
That wouldn't be a subtle entrance.
they wanted to do
That was very
a
subtle.
better strategy game, but I don't think they hate strategy games. I think they enjoy it.
It's more of a love of strategy games, and let's see if we can mess this up and do something new.
Yeah, right. Strip it down and then
Start over.
start over, right.
Have you given the dates for the next? Have you done next Trainjam?
Is there a next?
Is there next Trainjam?
The next Trainjam is March 10th through 13th of 2016.
Nice.
It's right before. It's always the Thursday to Saturday before GDC, which is the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco.
And which station does it start again?
Chicago.
And how many people did you have last year?
Last year it had 130. So
130 people developing games on a train.
yeah,
that is moving.
Yeah, we made about like 55 games I think this year, and we had a display at GDC that the people at GDC provided for us to show them off, and it was super cool. So.
And have you any favorites? Yes, you must have favorites.
There's a game. This is easy because I get to pick a favorite, but I get to have like a very narcissistic reason about it. There's a game that somebody made on the jam because they thought I missed the train because they didn't see me when the train left. So they made a game about me missing the train. And I was on one of those little like pump carts getting back to the train, and they kept taking pictures of everybody who was on the train, so everybody's faces are in the train that I'm like catching up to. And then at the end, me and Rami like smooch, and there's little hearts, and it's great. Yeah.
Xing is a 2-player sword fighting game.
Yeah.
It's really fast. It's kind of spectacular. It's you play like a little sphere that moves along this like little wave line, and you get to swing your sword with the right analog stick.
Oh, wow.
On a controller. You move the character with the left analog stick, and basically what you want to do is you want to get as much momentum into your swing before you pshing the enemy, basically. And it's super fast. It's actually really, really fun to play. It feels like there's a lot of skill involved. So I really hope that they play with that a bit more.
Yeah,
like
I know
as an
they've been
idea.
taking it a lot further and going to festivals with it.
This is one of my favorite things about game jams. Is like for anybody, there can be a different goal for a game jam. People can choose to make something really small and funny and personal, like the game that people made about Adriel missing the train. You can try and make something new and interesting, or you can just not care and just make something. But every now and then, something really good comes out of a game jam. Something like Wolfire Games did Receiver, which was a game in which is a normal first-person shooter, but the gun works like a proper gun. So if you want to reload it, you have to like kind of take it apart and like press a button to remove to put the safety on, like press a button to like take out the magazine, press a button to like grab a new magazine, press a button to click it in, to like cock the gun, to like fire it. So there's all these buttons you need to press before you can fire, and the gun can jam, and you have to like open it and clean it, and then in the meanwhile, the stuff is shooting at you and you're trying to take cover. So it's like, you know, in like action movies where the hero is like running and then sliding behind like a piece of cover, and then they have to like quickly reload their gun while the enemies are all coming.
Yeah.
And I've never had that feeling in a video game. And then here it was, right? Just straight out of a game jam. After
that's amazing.
after like 48 hours of jamming around, they made this thing. And one of my favorite games that is coming out soon, Super Hot, which is a first-person shooter where how fast you move dictates how fast time moves.
Oh, wow.
So if
okay,
you stand still and just don't move, all the bullets just hang in the air. And you can just be like, if I move to the right, this bullet will go past me. And you can just aim, take your time to aim at an enemy, but not too fast, because if you move too much, the bullet will start moving again. So it's really...
Can you go back? No, you can't go back.
You can't go back, you can't.
No.
But like, whenever you move, the bullets move, but whenever you stop moving, the bullets stop moving. It's a really fascinating game, but those are the types of games that come out of events like Trainjam.
That's amazing.
That was Global Game Jam 2 years ago, right?
That was a 7-day FPS,
Oh, yeah, 7-day
which
FPS.
is
Yeah, sorry.
a 7-day game jam in which people are challenged to make a first-person shooter that isn't like all first-person shooters that we have.
Like the two that we have.
Like Call of Duty or Battlefield.
Yeah. So-
Those
Those
two.
are the only shooters.
Basically.
Yeah.
Oh, and Destiny. Is that Destiny?
I love Destiny.
Yeah.
I also love Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I'm not that great on Battlefield, but I'll probably get some
I
criticism
also,
about that.
I was going to point out where to go find the Train Jam games if you wanted to play Pishing or anything.
Yeah.
What's
It's
the website?
trainjam.com. I know, right? And then /games is where you find the games.
All of them?
All of them. All the ones from this year and last year. 'Cause-
And
my
they're all
God.
free.
yeah, they're all free to play.
No, they're all free.
They're all
No-
free, yeah.
Not free to play.
Well, they're all free for you to play.
Yeah, you can play them freely, and you don't have to pay
Yeah.
for anything else.
They're all there, is what I'm trying to
Free
say.
to play as a term has
I
messed
know.
up our industry
this
so
sucks,
much.
because I'm trying to say that they're free for you to
Well,
play.
Like I've not like if people want to make free to play games, please make free to play games. But like I keep saying like, oh yeah, you can download Super Crate Box on Steam and it's free to play, and they're like, oh, so what are the unlocks? I'm like, no, it's free. It's free.
There is no exchange of money involved at any point during this game. It's basically what it
No,
means.
exactly, and that's the same for all the Train Jam
Yeah.
games.
So
That is,
trainjam.com/games.
Wow, that's how many games in total so far from all the game jams? Is it more than 100?
No, I think the Train Jam game total is like 60 or 80 or something.
We're going to do 120 next year. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with like 130 people, you get about 50 games, because most people pair off into teams. And there's some games that you can't actually play on the website because some of them were like physical games. Like the game you made the first year isn't on the website, I don't think, because it was a
because you have to
physical game.
literally strap an iPad to your body.
Or like the game, there were 2 teams this year actually that made games based on LED lights, and so they were like physical games. Like there was one, it was a bucket. He got an ice bucket and then put LEDs all around it and hooked up controllers, and it's basically an LED tank game. So like you move around and so there's some games you can't play, but.
Does the train company, do they know what game jam is? When you first approached them, did they go like, what do you want to do, a train jam?
So the first 2 years of Train Jam, we just sort of showed up.
They were super cool.
Yeah,
though.
no, they
were
loved
super
us. Yeah, they
curious,
super
and they
love
kept
us.
asking us questions, and they also had these weird sound effects over the intercom.
Yeah, yeah. There's a cart in the train that is a snack cart, and there's a person who works down there. And the guy the first year had this little like sound effects machine. So every time he'd make
that was
announcements, he would like
hilarious.
play all these sound effects from like Rugrats or like train whistles or like a lady screaming, or he had this like flamingo voice that he would do.
Yeah, it's like cartoonish.
Yeah, and then he would make his announcements. But yeah, like the people on the train company love us. We just sort of just show up though. Although this year I finally have somebody within Amtrak that I've been talking to, so hopefully.
They could just participate.
I mean, if people want to see a bit more of Train Jam, there's a documentary called Game Loading, which actually goes into what happened on Train Jam for a bit. So if people want to see what an environment like that looks like, gameloading.tv has a documentary that has a segment about Train Jam.
So from Train Jam to a totally different game where I'm going to ask you.
This is the best bridge I've ever heard between two things.
It is. From Train Jam the game, does any of you like mosquitoes? Do you like mosquitoes? Are you a big fan of mosquitoes? Just asking. Do you like?
No.
Do you like mosquitoes? Do you like mosquitoes?
No, I did play a game where I played a fly before, but no mosquitoes. No.
No. Rami, you like mosquitoes?
No.
This is the worst question.
Well, because
How do you hope this leads into a...
well,
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Yes, I love mosquitoes.
Bri-
Tell me more.
Well, you're going to be very upset about the next game because it's called It's about mosquitoes and shooting.
two of my
And
favorite
blood.
things.
And blood.
Three of my favorite things.
Well, there you go. I think we should just get that game on stage
Let's do it.
and
What's the
look
name
at
of the
that.
game?
I think I was going to say There Will Be Blood, and I'll be so wrong, so I'm not
Oh
going to say
no, I
the...
think you mean Blood Will Be Spilled.
Oh, yes, Blood Will Be Spilled. That's the one. There Will Be Blood.
Thank
is
you,
always
Eileen,
because-
for correcting our host.
Jack is a mosquito, a bounty hunter. At least what's left of him. They betrayed him, broke him, and left him to perish out in the wastelands. But he managed to survive. And for some people, that's bad news, because he will have his revenge, and blood will be spilled. They should have gave in when they had the chance.
You can... Oh, look, who's got two people?
It's a computer.
Sweet mosquitoes. See, mosquitoes are great.
Blood Will Be Spilled early demo.
Yeah.
So, George, what kind of mosquitoes do you have in London? Because when I hit a mosquito, there's like a drip of blood. Because mosquitoes are really small.
Yeah.
But you described as if this is like a Saw movie and there's just blood everywhere.
That's because the mosquitoes like me very much. And do you know my worst mosquito experience? In
Do tell. Finland.
Yeah. Because I was sort of like, I love Finland, it's a beautiful place, and I went there camping, like nature camping, and they have a lot of mosquitoes there. And I saw this T-shirt where, in Finland, someone, a tourist T-shirt where it says like a picture of mosquitoes, that's at the Finnish Air Force, because they've got so many mosquitoes there. Yeah. So, should we just ask these very nice gentlemen, oh, one of them is hiding.
Please,
You, my friend, do you like mosquitoes?
Well, not at all, actually. But we thought that it would be quite fun to have, I don't know, insects as characters in a game. And we wanted to have a game that's, I don't know, using this spaghetti western theme. And we always liked, I don't know, combining different genres and different themes. And we thought that using insects that, like, live in the dirt all their life, they combine quite well with the Western theme, I guess, because, well, the Westerns are dirty and dusty and stuff like that. So
it's a very big mental leap, but I like it.
I've always wondered where the term spaghetti western comes from. Like, it's something that
Is
I've
it the
always meant
shirts?
to look up. But
I
I've
thought
never...
it's the thing they wear has like the little spaghettis.
no, actually, the spaghetti Western term comes from late 70s or 80s. In the Italian cinema, it was like a subgenre of the Italian cinema, where those Italian directors were making Wild West movies, and it was like their vision of what a Wild West probably looked like, and those movies have these certain aspects, like all those silent type heroes that aren't really heroes, more like anti-heroes, and yeah, things like, I don't know, Good, Bad and Ugly and Once Upon a Time in the West, and all those great movies by Sergio Leone, or the old Django and movies like that.
That's amazing. You did your research there, I can clearly tell. It wasn't just about, like, we're going to do mosquitoes and put that in a game. You were like, we're going to research this whole Western thing and make
Well,
sure.
not necessarily. It wasn't me who did the research. I was just instructed what to say. It was my brother who created this whole idea of, he's also the main illustrator and graphic designer of the whole thing. So it was his idea. I'm just here to.
So can you introduce yourself and what your name is and everything?
Yeah, my name is Ivan. I'm from a small indie, we call ourselves Double Quote Studio. And
I like the quotes. Like...
yeah, well, we kind of don't feel necessarily like a studio yet. There are 4 of us. We are from right next door, from Slovakia. And this is our first game that we ever worked on. And we are working on it for, I don't know, like a year or so. So we are still in quite early stages of development. I mean, well, a year is a long time, but we are still...
Yeah, that's very early for a game.
Yeah.
Can you show us a bit about the game
Yeah.
now?
Well, you're cheating. You've got somebody else playing the game.
Yeah.
Okay, there's some animation happening on the
I
screen.
really like this art style, by the way.
And also, I love the voiceover. I don't think we can hear it, but the voiceover is an American sort of like Western sort of like.
Yeah,
very,
it's
very good.
it's an awesome voice actor that's doing the voiceover. So I'm just going to like do his job for him right now when you can't hear the voiceover. So the story is about a guy called Jack, who is a mosquito gunslinger, a bounty hunter, who was betrayed. They broke his wings, and he's on his quest for revenge. So we are really like playing around with this revenge Western theme.
I really like the walking animation. There's something about like a semi-bipedal thing, but with 4 legs walking that makes me happy.
Thank you. As I am a self-taught animator, it took me about a year to get it right. So I'm really happy that you like it.
That's only a quarter per leg. A quarter year per leg.
Yeah.
That's pretty good time ratio.
But all of them looked quite shitty. Like all 4 of them for about a year. So I'm not really sure about the time frame.
It's very surprising to a lot of people just how much work goes into small things like that. But if you're going to be watching this character walk all of the game, you know, the walking animation is going to be one of the most important things in the game. People will immediately be able to tell if your walking animation isn't good. So spending a year on a walking animation like this actually, like, that makes total sense. That's not a extraordinary amount to make sure something is right?
No, totally.
Yeah, also that was the main reason behind the fact that most of the body of our main character is hidden behind the poncho. And the reason
That's the
was...
whole reason this is a spaghetti western, right?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons, of course, right? But it's also because we actually got the feedback that insects aren't that pleasant to look at. So we decided to make the silhouette more interesting by hiding it behind the poncho. And also to make it, I don't know, less disgusting, I guess.
No, I agree. Bugs are gross. So I totally support this poncho decision.
So all bugs should wear ponchos, even in real life.
Yes.
Yeah, and shoot guns, I guess.
No.
Not that part.
Yeah, but it would be like those tiny little guns. It would, I think it would be funny, like pew pew. No?
So tell us a little bit about the gameplay. So you have to aim, you have to shoot, you have to reload, all on different buttons. So it's a combo of like making sure you have enough ammunition at all times, and that you're aiming at the right, at the right person, I guess, and that you're dodging and hiding.
Yeah, you also did your homework. Yeah,
I played it. Yeah, I've played it, and it's. And how far are you with the game? Is it out? Have you?
No.
Okay.
no, it's not. Not yet. We are still, as I said before, in early stages of development. So we've got like, this is our playable prototype or first playable demo. It got like, I don't know, 10 minutes of gameplay and a Wilhelm scream. Right now we are polishing it so that we could actually send it out to as many people as we can later this year to get as much feedback as possible and polish the game even more and see if we are on the right track, I guess. So yeah, as you said, it's a 2D action platformer set in a world inhabited by insects, and it's a Wild West world. So.
Yeah. And sorry, I was going to ask about the website. I was just going to ask about the website.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that. A quick question.
Yeah.
Do you have a website for this game? And if people want to know more about the game, there's a website that they can go to?
Yeah, actually there is. It's quite straightforward. It's www.bloodwillbespilled.com. But I actually would recommend to just visit our Facebook. There is more actual content there and more current things. So we don't keep our website all that much up to date, so the Facebook would be better.
Do you have a Twitter account? Do you use
Yeah, we
Twitter?
do. Yeah, we do. It's at BLWBS, like blood will be spilled, the acronym. Yeah.
And that's cool. I like this game because I don't like mosquitoes.
I was gonna ask, does the mosquito shoot other mosquitoes, or is it just all other insects?
That's an interesting thought. We don't have any other mosquito characters in the game.
It's the last mosquito.
The only mosquito?
Well, the first concepts of the game were working with a theme that he could be something like a vampire, like this
Right.
this dark, I don't know, purpose that he has, this curse that he has to suck blood of others.
Oh no, there's fire.
Yeah. Run. But we kind of dropped that because we don't want it to be all that dark. And also we kind of take
You
a few creative liberties, like it is. Some people know that there are just mosquito females that can suck blood. We were like, no, they doesn't. Everyone sucks blood. And also, the funny thing is that insects actually don't have blood. They've got this thing called...
Well, mosquitoes have my blood, so that's the problem with mosquitoes.
Yeah, I understand. I fully understand. But
Wait, bugs don't have blood?
Bugs don't have blood. They've got this green ooze that's called hemolymph. And it's, I don't know, it's...
That explains a lot.
This is a very interesting fact.
Well, you're welcome.
So for that fact, like in Germany, when they replace the blood with green stuff, basically they turn all the enemies into
To
bugs.
insects. Yeah,
insects. So
definitely.
that's what happens. That's one way of censoring games. You just
Turn
them into bugs.
insects. Yeah.
Oh, that's a bit cruel.
Yeah.
Wait, so how do bugs work? Like,
I'm not sure this is the right context for a masterclass about bug
well, I want to know
anatomy.
because we have blood because it carries oxygen around our bodies and like antibiotics or
So
white blood
I have
cells.
heard from reasonably trustworthy sources that bugs don't use antibiotics.
Well, no, not antibiotics. That's not what I meant. I meant like white blood cells to bring your antibodies around, to cure illnesses and stuff like that. So like when a bug like loses a limb. What?
It dies.
Fluid.
No, it doesn't.
Or it keeps
Cockroaches
flying.
can live without their heads for like ever.
Maybe they can do that because they don't have blood. Maybe cockroaches have
What
blood.
brings blood? What brings oxygen to their brains?
Well, I'm not an expert, but from what I heard, they've got this open circulatory system, so they get oxygen from the air. I think I guess that on the Twitch there are right now 500 experts that are like,
I know,
oh,
we can't even see the chat.
yeah,
'cause the-
this guy.
My home screen is on.
Yes.
This guy is talking bullshit, but I think it's something like that. Yeah.
So magic, got it.
Yeah.
Magic insects.
Yeah, that's the same magic that makes those magic things go magic.
Yes, good. Well said. Well said.
I know.
Eloquent, George. Eloquent.
Well, I mean, that was, I've played this today as well, and I really enjoyed it because it was...
Is that an insect minigun? That is a insect minigun.
Yeah.
No further
Place
explanation.
In a very tiny world, or are these bugs human-sized?
Yeah. Yes.
Is it one of those questions where different people in the team have got different interpretations?
Yeah,
and
maybe.
No, not necessarily,
You
but
should just leave the answer at yes. Does this game take place in a small world or in a human-sized world? It's like, yes, it does.
it definitely does.
Yeah.
Well, but we kind of like to think about it that it's like taking place in, I don't know, on completely different planet, I guess, or something like that.
Well, look, there's all the details where you can talk and look at the game and whatnot. Well, that was very interesting, and I think, when do you reckon the game is out? In next year, 2 years' time, 3 years' time?
Yes.
Yes.
Hopefully in, I don't know, about 2 years' time from now. We still don't know because there is a lot of work to be done, and I don't know.
We'll have to see. Well, good luck with it all.
The game is called Bollwerk.
Yeah.
We chose the German version, not the English version, because Bollwerk doesn't sound that badass. And our name for our group is Happy Accident, because we are students and we are not really a company.
So which school are you students from?
We are from the University Hagenberg in Upper Austria, so we are Austrians.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go. Well,
Basically, it's a company asked our university, hey, we have this cool device. It's a table with I think it's a 46-inch touchscreen, 42, sorry, and it's a table this big and weighs 200 pounds or something like that. And they said, hey, we have this cool device. Do you want to make a game for that? And we said, yeah, for sure. And that was the situation. And then we started to think, okay, what's cool in games? And we think explosions are cool.
I agree.
So we made a game with a lot of explosions and a lot of people running around. And I think I described our whole game.
You got a big touchscreen, and then you decided to make a game about big explosions on a big touchscreen.
And a lot of units running around and explosions. Short explanation at the beginning, it's a tower defense. You can build your base, your towers to defend yourself, but you can also train your units to punch the enemies in the face. You have this area. It's kind of confusing. It's over there. with the green marks, you see your area, and in this area you can build your towers. And the basic idea is to work together to survive the 10 minutes. That's a restraint we get from the company we developed the game for. The duration of one game must be 10 minutes tops. So that's kind of, I think it's shitty because 10 minutes is so short time. But anyways, as you see, they start building their bases. Okay, one player started building their bases. The others are confused.
So where are each player? Like it's a 3-player game.
Yeah, it's 3 players. In each corner, okay, this isn't the corner, but in the corner and in the middle, there are the players.
Okay, that's also confusing. No, don't get it. Just touch me. So.
So what the? My tower stopped shooting.
So now the enemy started to come out and try to destroy the bases.
This is my childhood playing tower defense all over again.
And it's only 10 minutes though?
Yeah, it's only 10 minutes. And
so you're not wasting your life here, Rami. It's only 10 minutes.
It feels like I'm wasting my life.
the first 3 minutes aren't that busy.
So how? I mean, it's a tower defense with multiple people. Like, can you play it on the internet, or is it like local co-op, local touch co-op?
It's developed only for this table, for this game table the company made. Okay. So they are producing the table, and we make the games for this specific table. Oh, wow, cool. So it's not possible to develop it for maybe an iPad or something like that, because it's designed for this table. It's designed for this scale. And
where can you find this table? Is it like did the company offer it to?
It's like you can find it in gaming halls or stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's this kind of machine. It's more like I don't know what you call it in English.
Like a festival machine, like like an arcade. Where you
arcade, yeah. It's an arcade company, and that's one of their product, the table.
So Adriel,
I'm winning.
How are you feeling?
Winning.
I think that's. We should probably stop when Adriel's winning, and like Rami's not even touching the screen anymore. You are.
So they take enemies out, and they attack the player that's playing best.
Where is the game going to be shown next?
Oh my God.
Do you know?
I don't really know. I think at the Ars Electronica Expo, I think.
Oh, is it in Linz?
Yeah, it's at Linz. Yeah.
In Austria as well?
Yeah.
And have you taken it around internationally? Can we see it in the UK or in...
It was in the UK in February.
Ooh.
When the company presented a new table. I know the company. And we were the first independent game developer for this table. So they showed our game and told the people, hey, look, we have independent game developers for our table. Look how cool we are. And that's the first time we got shown international.
Oh, cool. That's very, very cool.
Yeah, the problem was it was an early version. It doesn't look so good. It crashed sometimes. But who cares? It's an early version.
That's okay. That's cool. Like, sometimes you've got to do that. I think Rami and Adriel are discussing winning defeats. Are you discussing who really won? What's going on?
I got a higher score and I survived longer.
She got like 7 points higher score on a scale of 200, even though she survived for 4 more minutes. So I definitely played better.
Only 2 more minutes, but it's longer than you
4
survived.
minutes.
No, you don't know how to math.
These numbers here are complete
What
random.
about this number? What about this number?
The most important number that kind of like makes and breaks friendships is random.
What about this number?
The discussions
this other
are-
number is also
Yeah,
larger.
these are
That
true.
number is absolutely real, and the
Yeah.
time is also real. So you did 199 points in 6.5 minutes, and I did 192 points in 5.5 minutes.
Just saying, I survived longer and I killed
I'm
more
just saying,
things.
my ratio is way better than yours.
I think we have to stop here because otherwise this argument's going to go on forever. So thanks very much for showing us your game, and well, round of applause for Bollwerk.
Unfortunately, this was it for this episode of the Radius Night Show here in Octo, but it's not the end. There is more to come. If you want to see more games, then tune in to the next episode, and until then, have fun.